All right. Hello, everybody. KVU Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you on this Friday evening. A number of little updates to our forecast that we want to take some time and go over with everybody for you. Here are the three main things that I'm tracking. Tomorrow, this is kind of a new addition to the forecast. We've known this Pacific cold front's going to be moving through. A couple days ago, it looked like we would barely have any rain or stormy weather at all, and still I don't expect big storm issues, but there is a low end risk now for maybe a couple of strong storms through the first part of the day on Saturday here in our KVU area. We'll talk about that coming up. Otherwise, it's another Pacific cold front, so we're still very warm through the weekend. Even into Monday, high temperatures are still going to be in the 80s. By the way, 82 was the high in Austin today. It was a daily record. But in time for the new year, I'm tracking a much stronger cold front. It gets here on the morning of New Year's Eve, and behind that one, I think we're going to get cool and we're going to stay cool for a while. It will start to feel a little bit more like it's supposed to feel for this time of the year. Imagine that. All right, now before we have any sort of storm chance tomorrow morning, tonight, we're going to have widespread fog, mist, and drizzle that develop. So here's our fog tracker at midnight. Visibility quickly dropping down to a half mile or less as this Gulf humidity surges in. And this is going to be widespread for virtually our entire KVU area tonight into the first part of the day on Saturday. So bare minimum, plan on that if you're going to be out and about running errands early in the day on Saturday. Damp, low visibility weather. And then as our front comes through in the mid to late morning into the early afternoon, obviously it will bring that chance for a broken line of showers and storms. And then behind it, we're actually going to clear to sunshine. It's going to be warm and very breezy for your Saturday afternoon. Here is the latest timing on our front for tomorrow. So we go into about 10 o'clock midnight, low clouds developing. It's foggy, it's drizzly, but no storm issues overnight. Here is 7 a.m. on Saturday. In addition to the fog and drizzle, few little patchy areas of some steadier light showers start to develop. And then as we keep going into about 10 a.m., here's our cold front. Again, storm chance for the hill country looks very low to non-existent. There's going to be some drizzle and some damp weather, just not storm issues. But as we go into about 10 a.m., right along the I-35 corridor, we'll wait and see if this little broken line of showers and a few heavier storms can develop. And then as this moves east into a more favorable environment through the late morning into about lunchtime, maybe some of these storms, especially northeast of Austin, becoming a little bit stronger. So again, this is why we have introduced that low end severe weather threat here locally. Here's 11:30. We go to 1 o'clock. Any stormy weather is going to move out. In the afternoon tomorrow, behind this cold front, it's going to be sunny, warm, breezy, high temperatures in the upper 70s. Now, here's how I see our storm chances tomorrow. Again, try to kind of separate this. We are all going to have damp weather in the morning tomorrow. It's going to be fog and drizzle. But here are the kind of chances of heavier showers or at least some thunderstorms. It's low across the hill country, like a 30%, then about a 40% into the I-35 corridor in the Austin metro, but it's especially northeast of Austin in this darker green zone, northeast Travis, eastern Williamson, into Milam County, northern Lee County, northern Bastrop County. That's kind of the zone I'm highlighting where we'll see. Again, not a guarantee, still there. It's about a 50-50 shot, but we will see if a couple of stronger storms can develop. This is the general timeline. Again, not for all of the wet weather, but if we are to see some storms tomorrow, this is the window we want you to be aware, and just out of an abundance of caution, again, especially along and east of I-35, just make sure you have the KVU app downloaded. Make sure you've got a way to receive any alerts just in case we get one. We'll talk more about it coming up. 7 a.m. to 10 for the hill country. The threat is very, very low here, but especially here in the metro and I-35 corridor. 9 a.m. to noon is the timing. Then along the Highway 77 corridor into eastern Milam County, we're watching about 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or so. So that is the timing breakdown. As of now, the vast majority, like 99% of our KVU area, has no severe threat from the Storm Prediction Center. All quiet, with the exception of eastern Milam County. Now, if you've been following along with our updates over the past couple of days, you'll know the trend has been to expand this westward. So yesterday, the level 1 was well to our east. Now it's kind of bumping up on our KVU counties. I think it is very possible that when we get our next update overnight tonight, they expand that level 1 risk into some of our eastern and northeastern zones here in the KVU area. So again, It's a low-end risk. We're not trying to scare anybody. We're just trying to kind of get ahead of this. A little bit of an evolving forecast. I do think there's at least some risk for some strong storms here in our KVU area, but it's going to be a much, much higher severe weather risk. Level 2, Houston into East Texas, then a level 3, another enhanced risk for parts of Louisiana into Mississippi, and then eventually into parts of western Alabama through Saturday. So another very active weather pattern, it appears. Again, no formal severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, but here's kind of how I see this low-end risk. 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock on Saturday. That's the general time frame. A low risk for a storm capable of damaging winds, large hail, and yes, a low risk for an isolated tornado. I don't see a big flooding risk just because I don't think we're going to have that much heavy rain to begin with, and if some heavier storms develop, they'll be moving at a decent clip. But just to be on the safe side, again, it would not surprise me at all if we wake up tomorrow morning, we've got a level 1 marginal risk into portions of the KVU area. So I just want to give you an early heads up for what we're tracking there. The model comparison, though, does show you some of the uncertainty. Our HER model, the high-res rapid refresh, not aggressive on really any storms at all in our KVU area, and that's very possible. Entirely possible. The graph model, which is the model that I just showed you, it's a little bit more bullish, saying, hey, maybe some of these stronger storms develop far enough back west that it does impact parts of our KVU area. And even then, this is not going to be a ton of rain, but then we could get into some higher totals for areas where storms develop, especially on the northeast side of our KVU area. We'll call it a 40% storm chance for Saturday, mainly in the morning. Low risk, a couple of them could be strong. We'll start the day southwest wind, then we'll switch to a northwest wind, but it's breezy, 10 to 20 sustained, gust up to about 30. And once we go back to sunshine, it's going to be very warm. High temperature of 79 is in the forecast for Saturday. Sunday, behind this Pacific cold front, we are slightly cooler, 49 in the morning, high temperature of about 76 in the forecast. Okay, so that is front number 1, a Pacific cold front. Again, kind of the breakdown with this. A Pacific cold front has Pacific air behind it, so it's milder, maybe a little bit cooler, but it's not going to be drastically colder. We have a real wintertime front coming in early next week, so here is Monday afternoon of next week. We're going to be in the 80s, low to mid 80s here in Central Texas, but this strong cold front is going to be coming down. It's going to get here late Monday night into Tuesday morning, so this would be the morning of New Year's Eve. I don't see any rain with it, but this is a very chilly air mass that's going to be moving in. So with the front coming in the morning of New Year's Eve, if you're maybe planning ahead to whatever you have going on for to bring in the New Year's for New Year's night, I do think it's going to be much cooler than the weather that we have experienced here recently. Also, want to update you on our allergy count. Cedar was high today. We're thinking that maybe this could happen as we get into early January, that especially mid-January, that's the peak of cedar season. So all these dry, breezy cold fronts, one of them is bound to give us our first big cedar spike. It wasn't a massive spike today, but it's enough to get to the high category. Mold was also high with alternate area detected. You can always find the latest allergy counts on KVU.com and on our KVU app. Tonight, fog is likely. Here's how it kind of goes down. Fog builds in tonight. There's a 20% chance for light showers and drizzle overnight. Very mild. We only drop down to 61. Then tomorrow, mainly in the morning, that front's going to move through. We'll see if a broken line of showers and a few storms can develop. I've upped our rain chance a little bit. I'll say it's a 40%. It's going to be damp tomorrow morning. Just to kind of reiterate this, we are going to have fog and drizzle. That is just about a sure bet. The question is if some storms can develop. So wet weather, yes. Storms, a maybe. Once we clear to sunshine, 79 degrees is what we have in the forecast for the afternoon high. Now look at the 7-day forecast. 79 tomorrow, 40%, 76 as we go into Sunday. Monday, we're back at 83 degrees, so we're back in the territory of record heat. Then as we go into the morning of New Year's Eve, 48, front's coming through, high temperature 66. It is going to keep getting cooler behind the front. For New Year's morning, 40 degrees is in the forecast in Austin. 59 for the afternoon high. Afternoon's going below average. Thursday morning, I have 37 degrees in the forecast in Austin. Outside of the city, there could be some areas that drop down to a light freeze, but still, I mean, this 7-day forecast takes us into early January, and we've had some, chilly mornings, but there has still not been the first freeze of the season in town for Austin. Just about everybody outside of the urban areas in Austin has seen the first freeze, but Austin-Kent Mabry has not seen a freeze just yet. 60 for the afternoon high on Thursday. Then as we go to Friday, temperatures moderating a little bit, 43 in the morning. We'll do 64 for the afternoon high. So that is what we are tracking over the next 7 days. Now, just to give you one more kind of big picture view of what we're tracking for tomorrow, low end severe risk, but just like our last few systems, the much higher probabilities for severe weather are going to be to the east. Let's run through this one more time. I'll keep it zoomed out this time so you can see how it unfolds. Here's 10 a.m. tomorrow. Ahead of that front, we have drizzle, light showers in the morning. Then we'll see. It is not a guarantee that the radar looks just like this, but there's a chance we have this broken line of showers and storms, but it's much more formidable to our north, and then especially as we get into parts of East Texas. So watch how this unfolds as we get past the morning tomorrow into the afternoon. Here's 2:30. That's looking pretty mean just north of the Houston area. Then especially heading into Louisiana and Mississippi. Those are the areas that have that enhanced risk, a level 3 for tomorrow. And then as we get into the late day tomorrow into tomorrow night, this big line of storms is going to keep marching eastward into parts of Alabama and into Georgia. So I will leave you with that. Our 7-day forecast, again, just a heads up, low end risk. We'll let you know if something changes. A low end risk for a strong storm or two for your Saturday. Sunday looks good, very warm on Monday. Then the wintertime cold front is coming in early next week by the morning of New Year's Eve. That will drop our highs into the 50s and 60s and mornings into the 30s and 40s. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you for KVU News tonight at 10 o'clock.